foundational part of this, shot selection is where it all starts. What shots do we want? We spoke about that before. After shot selection, it's dominoes. And this is the analogy and the principles of play for how we want to play with an advantage. So you guys can picture a set of dominoes falling. That is what I want players to be thinking about. So when the advantage first appears, whether we have a 4 against 3, a 5 on 4, whatever the advantage is, can we keep the dominoes falling so that the last domino to fall is a great shot? Not a mid-range, not a floater, a layup, a dunk, a catch and shoot 3. That's what we want the last shot to be in dominoes. So we have 3 things we can do to be consistent with our dominoes habits. And if the team consistently does these 3 things, the odds are you're going to be able to convert advantages really well. The first thing is 0-second decisions. That's concept number 1 of dominoes. Whenever we have an advantage, we want to shoot, pass, or drive in 0 seconds. If we catch and we hold the ball and we get to triple threat, we fake, all we're doing is we're giving the defense a chance to get back to neutral. And the dominoes stop because we risk losing the advantage. Concept number 2, the floor is lava. So I don't know if you guys know lava. It's like volcano, right? The red stuff. The kids find it really funny, and even pro players, because there was a big thing on social media like 2 years ago. There was a big viral thing with escaping the lava. So all I mean by that is the lava is the mid-range. So whenever we are in dominoes, we have advantage. Let's say we drive and we kick. Now, after this pass, I have to leave the lava. What most players do after drive and kick is they stand here and they wait. Then maybe they start jogging off. No. Instead, we want to leave the lava as quickly as we went inside it. So that means on a drive and kick, boom, I'm immediately back out. So if we can do that, it means the dominoes can keep falling because maybe my teammate drives it and now I'm ready to receive it again. If I stay in there, I'm losing the dominoes because one defender can guard 2, right? It also applies after a cut. So not a pass and cut, I call it a ghost cut, which is a cut from the weak side, a ghost cut. And that's something really effective in dominoes to get a high-value shot. So maybe it's the same thing, a player cuts, they got to escape the lava. For taller players, they have an extra space, which is the dunker position. So for bigger guys, they can escape the lava by respacing on the weak side to the dunker, right here. Because then they're in a good position to get a layup or dunk. But everyone else, it's outside the 3, especially guards, right? So that's concept number 2. So we got 0 seconds. Number 2, escape the lava. Floor is lava. Number 3 is very simple. Stretch the defense. So we never want one defender to be able to guard 2 offense. So all that means, it applies to a lot of things. If we're spaced with a player in the corner and the next player is here and they're almost holding hands, that is really bad spacing because one defender can guard 2. So the players, you can stand anywhere you want, but you cannot allow one defender to guard 2. So that's why I love the 2 side, the 45 and the corner, because it's impossible for one to guard 2. It's just impossible because the spacing's so good. Now, as part of stretch the defense, you could cut. You might set a hammer screen. You could set a pin. There's loads you could do. So the idea is whenever we have an advantage, we want these 3 things, these 3 concepts to be applied. If we lose the advantage, it's neutral, and then we have to re-trigger. And all that means is we have to get to another trigger. So that could be a quick pick and roll, a get, a quick screen, anything, right? Obviously, we don't want to do that, but it will just, it's normal. It happens in basketball. Players make bad decisions, and we have to be ready to go. So it's a very different way of looking at the game. What I would like you guys to do now is we're going to spend a bit longer on this. I'd like you guys to be in different groups to the ones you were in earlier, different groups of 3. And we're going to spend 2 minutes, and I want you guys to think about one small-sided game which you could use to develop dominoes. The 3 concepts of dominoes. So the task, create one small-sided game which develops dominoes and see what different constraints you can use to shape those dominoes habits. Do we have any questions on the task? I want to get my phone. I'm going to put a 3-minute timer on instead. 3 minutes. That's okay. Hold. Recreate. Recreate. That's all right. So, coaches, how uncomfortable does that feel when that happens?
When you don't catch the ball?
Yeah, but it's awesome. And the reason why is because that is the reality of what your players are going to do. The biggest problem I see is a lot of times stuff like that happens and we get angry. And we yell at the kids, we sigh, we give negative body language. But think, do players try and commit a turnover? Do they try to miss a shot? No, right? If we waste time by punishing them and we make them run or we yell at them, all we are doing is making it more likely that they're going to do the same thing again. So the way we respond to mistakes is critical. And that's why I say a lot of things like, great mistake, or I'm glad you made that mistake because it shows you're learning. So we want a complete shift. Go again, guys. Awesome, yes, beautiful. Hey, so, coaches, what dominoes habits did you see in that 3-on-3? What did you see? What did they do on offense that was awesome, that was within the 3 concepts of dominoes? 0 seconds. Exactly, Kasha. That was a beautiful extra pass, and the decision to shoot was in 0 seconds. There was no catch, jab, shot. It was a 0-second shot. We saw 0 seconds. We saw stretch the defense. The spacing was perfect. So, guys, I'm going to steal that one. Great job. Great job. So, this is a good example of if you guys add your ideas to the things I am presenting, that's when you're going to make really special things. Don't just copy everything. Think carefully and add to the things I'm doing. Now, I'm going to show you a few more ways we can shape dominoes. Some different formats. Really simple, 3 against 2. Very simple, different constraints. So we won't play this much, guys, but 3 offense could be anywhere, 2 defense in. Now, as we do this, I use a concept called bursts. So, my man, let's imagine we are first. Guys, you would be defenders on the baseline with an extra basketball. Sorry, my man, do you mind just giving them the ball? Just the ball, yeah, perfect. So, you guys would be waiting out of bounds. So, bursts, I'm going to show you what this is. So we would play 3-on-2 as normal. We would say you can only score a 3-pointer or the smile. No mid-range, because it's 3-on-2. It's an advantage. As soon as you finish, right, defense, we would get the ball. If they score or they miss, we get the ball, we come off, and then you guys immediately come on. So we are only defense. You guys are only offense. Ready? Go. Yep. Beautiful. 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Off, off, off. Next two, next two, next two. And stop. Right? So that is bursts. B-U-R-S-T-S. How I do it is I time on my phone maybe 45 seconds, and you guys get to play offense the whole time. So what that does is it creates a lot of repetition, but it's not boring repetitions because every scenario is different. Okay, how can we change this 3-on-2? What other constraints could we do to shape dominoes? The 3 concepts of dominoes, what could we do? Who's got a good one?
You can force them to do like 3 passes.
Okay, I'm very glad you brought that one up, Eric. Eric said we could force them to make 3 passes. Now, I used to do that too, but then I stopped doing it. The reason why is because it's not realistic of the game. right? And I'm glad you said that, because I used to do that a lot. And I also used to do things like every player must catch the ball on offense. But it's not representative of the game, because maybe sometimes the best dominoes could just be you catch the ball, you drive, and you score a layup. A very short domino sequence. It's not like the best ones are the San Antonio Spurs, if you guys remember, where they had loads of passes, but that's not necessary, because if we can get a good shot within like one domino, we'll take that shot. If the defense take that away, then yeah, we need those Spurs-like domino sequences. So I'm very glad you said that, though. What we could do, though, on a similar way, we could give a shot clock, which is it's the same idea, but maybe we say 7 seconds to score. So instead of the players just passing the ball around and not being aggressive, they have 7 seconds to end the dominoes. So they're going to be way more aggressive, maybe looking to drive, looking to cut. We could say you must touch the paint before you shoot. So a paint touch. So the one player must touch the paint before you're allowed to shoot. So that will stop them just kind of passing around, and it will make them more aggressive.
Why it's realistic?
The paint touch, because it's basically just more like what would happen in the game. The paint touch. Because what we don't want is when we have dominoes, if players just pass the ball around, they're not gonna. It's not real.
Against the logic.
Exactly. So we want to be aggressive ending dominoes. Change the scoring. Awesome. Layup is more. So that's a really good one, because what you'll see is players will be happy to just shoot threes. That's not what this is about. Exactly. It's the easy way. No. The layups and the dunks are the best ones. So we could keep scoring this, and we say, all right, a 3 is 3, a layup or a dunk is 6. Right? Now, what I do in every small-sided game, you're not going to see this today, every single game I keep score. Every single game. 2-on-1 shooting to anything. And the rule is, if the players don't say the score, it doesn't count. That is the best thing you can do to start making your practices more competitive. Score everything. So within this burst, say they score a layup and it's 6. 6, they score a 3-pointer. One of them's got to say 9. They score a layup. 15. And if we don't hear the score, they reset to 0 points. So everything we do, there's a winner and there's a loser. And that's super important, because if players aren't competing in the small-sided games, it's not representative of the game. Now, for some of you guys, if you're coaching professionals, on a low day, we wouldn't score, because it's a low-stress day. You know, we don't want the load to be too high. But if you're coaching youth, score everything for sure. Fantastic. What else have we got?
We can add the third.
Great example. Add a third defender after like 3 seconds. Now, what I would do to make it more variable is always have that defender come from a random place. So maybe side, bottom, always random. So it's more variable and the offense has to adapt. Fantastic. Now, something I would also do to be more specific and shaping the 3 rules of dominoes, I would say it's a turnover if you don't play in 0 seconds. So what I mean by that, a player catches and they hold, turnover. The defense go off, the next defense come on. So they lose the chance to play the offense. If they catch the ball in the mid-range, you'll see a lot of this. Players creep and they catch it here. If they catch the ball in the lava, turnover. The exception is if they make a cut. If they're cutting, they can catch in the lava, but they cannot catch the ball in the mid-range. Why? Because we want to stretch the defense, right? We want to make it harder. We want to make the closeouts longer. The last thing would be if they stand in a position where one defender can guard 2, turnover. So, and it's difficult because we haven't got players, you guys won't get to see this, but the most important job and your job as a coach with this approach is to officiate the constraints. So this approach is very different to the traditional way we see ourselves. The traditional approach, we see that we have to tell the players everything, and they must do it. Instead, with this approach, we have to create and manage the environment. So I would not tell players the 3 concepts of dominoes. I wouldn't do it. Instead, I'd let those things happen within this. So I'd create the environment, and then I would start shaping it. So then maybe after 3 minutes, I say, okay, guys, new constraint, you must play in 0 seconds now. If you don't, it's a turnover. So then they learn that. And then my job is to officiate it. So if I see them and they don't play in 0, I must call turnover. If I don't call turnover, they don't learn, and it's useless, right? Then after a few minutes, guys, now we're going to play the floor is lava. You can't catch in the lava, you must escape the lava. So now I'm officiating 0 seconds and floor is lava, and then the last one would be stretch the defense. So naturally they're learning these principles of play inside the game. So it's not me showing them the answers in video study or telling them before. They're learning it and they're doing it because that's how they learn.